Hi guys, welcome to week 7 of Table Leader Training for Who You Are at Man Church. I hope everybody's having a wonderful week. Last week we discussed mental illness and suicide at Man Church through Who You Are, and it's a very difficult topic, very heavy topic for a lot of people, and there might be some guys at your table that need to process what they heard last week or what they experienced through some of the homework a little bit more this week. And so take that into consideration. It might be an opportunity for you to discuss with them individually, either before table time or after table time, since table time is shortened this week, to really process any issues that arise. And just remember the support that you have in Kelly and myself should an issue arise that you're concerned about somebody's safety or well-being. So this week we have an incredible opportunity to have Joe Herzanek. He's speaking on addiction this week, and he's battled his own addictions. He is a chaplain and president and founder of Changing Lives Foundation. He's a certified addiction counselor, and he spent over 20 years working in the criminal justice system as a chaplain and addiction counselor. He's the author of the award-winning book, Why Don't They Just Quit? What Family and Friends Need to Know About Addiction and Recovery. So feel free to invite family, friends to hear him speak Monday night in the main sanctuary so that they might be able to hear something that they need in their own lives or in the lives of family or friends who might be struggling with an addiction. This week, if everybody could review Making Small Groups Work, Chapter 42, it's on making positive changes, which focuses on the importance of making sure that we're being honest with somebody by speaking the truth in love into their lives to help influence them to make godly and healthy choices. So again, reviewing Chapter 42 of Making Small Groups Work. There's going to be several handouts this week. The first handout will be a handout that everybody should receive as they're going into the sanctuary to hear Joe Herzanek speak. It's on the 10 toughest questions. It looks like this. We're going to review this, or we're going to go over this in our small group time, in our table time later during the evening. We'll also hand out at the tables, you'll hand out at the tables the 12 steps and the biblical comparisons. Looks like this, and this one's front and back, just like the 10 toughest questions are. We'll also have a handout for the guys on the CPR manual section on addiction, and it looks like this. Okay, and so we'll go over where we're using those a little bit more in depth here. So when you get to your table following the presentation, go ahead and start with your discussion questions. And the first question, what were your initial thoughts after hearing Joe Herzanek's message on addiction? So obviously answers will vary, but it might include things like what they thought originally was normal behavior, they're recognizing maybe as not normal behavior or as potential addiction. Have you or your family ever struggled with addiction? How was the addiction issue addressed? So asking that question at the table is going to give an opportunity for the guys to be real authentic about their own struggles or their family struggles with addiction and how they responded when those things happen. And so they might mention things like, answers are going to vary, but they might mention things like they handled it by ignoring the problem, right? It's kind of the elephant in the room, or sweeping it under the rug to pretend like the problem wasn't there. They might have kept it a secret so that nobody knew that the addiction was an issue. Or they may have said, we addressed the addiction issue with the person who was addicted. And they might want to process how that person responded, if they were accepting or if they were confrontational or rejecting of the feedback about their behavior in their addiction. So the third question, how might you help somebody who has a family member struggling with an addiction, or how might your intervention change if they share with you about their own enabling or codependent behaviors? Again, answers will vary, but it's going to be important to help somebody in this situation to explore the extent of the addiction. For the person who might be enabling the behavior, to encourage them to consider going to like an Al-Anon class or a codependency class. And it also might be important to help somebody in this scenario, in this situation, to know where recovery groups are or where treatment programs are to get their loved one into. So the next section of our agenda goes into the discussion activity. So this is where we're going to review the 10 toughest questions that we talked about earlier. You'll just have an opportunity to have a discussion at the table about each of those questions, process with the guys. And hopefully there's going to be guys who have taken notes or who have gotten answers to a lot of these questions from Joe's presentation. After that, if you could hand out the CPR manual handout on addiction, as well as that 12-step and their biblical comparison. Review those before having them go into the one-on-one activity. Okay, and so it'll be important as you're talking about the 12 steps. It'll be important to mention while you're talking about the 12 steps about the importance of the first step. The first step being we admitted we were powerless over our addictions and compulsive behavior, that our lives had become unmanageable. It's this idea of let go and let God, right? And so recovery really can't occur until somebody acknowledges that they have a problem, admitting that they have a problem and that they're powerless over being able to conquer this addiction on their own. The other thing to note with 12 steps is that some people think 12 steps are only for alcohol and drug addictions, but really the 12 steps can be used for anything that keeps somebody from having a closer relationship with God. So pride, anger, pornography, shopping, worry, jealousy, any of those issues could be something that prevents us from having a closer relationship with God. And so a 12-step group or program could be used to help somebody through that, okay? So then go into the one-on-one activity. The one-on-one activity at Man Church one night, someone at your table shares that he's been struggling with issues from the amount he has been drinking. He states that he's been written up for being late to work because of a hangover, that he's been arrested for driving while intoxicated 6 months ago, and that when he drinks, he often gets into verbally aggressive arguments with his wife that have been negatively impacting their relationship. He tells you that he recognizes the need to change. How would you respond? So let your guys do that one-on-one activity for about 5 minutes, just how they would respond to help somebody who's come to them and expressed this need or this issue. And then after about 5 minutes, come back together and see what they came up with. But appropriate responses might include things like having the man take the addiction self-test that's in the addictions portion of the CPR manual. Encouraging the man to be assessed by a professional counselor for addiction, encouraging him to join a recovery group, and possibly even mention the groups offered at CBC on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. So I pray that Monday night's going to be a really powerful night for guys who might have addiction-related issues in their families or in their own lives, and that the Holy Spirit's able to speak into them to let them know what they need to do with this information from here. So, all right, I look forward to seeing you everybody Monday night. God bless.